Good morning, everyone. TGT Media is an entertainment industry interview podcast where we interview the creative minds from the comic, film, music, and game publishing industry, and I'm your host, Kurt. We are joined today by a very talented and funny comic creator. I was very fortunate to have her as one of my very first listeners to the show here, and she has since created a wonderful comic, as you can see, called Little Forkers. We are joined today by Tess Cooper, and of course her daughter,
Amber.
Amber, thank you.
Jenny.
I'm horrible. I'm so sorry. It's going to be like this. It's been like this for years. So, but how are you guys doing today?
We're doing great. We've already been up, had our breakfast. Oops, we forgot to now. And we're just kind of getting ready to go into town here a little bit later and run some errands. So.
Well, we won't keep you very much long here. But I've always said, for those that come on the show, if you can't talk about yourselves for about a half hour or so, then you're in the wrong business. And I know, speaking from you, from Chicago's last year's C2E2, and we'll talk about that as well. You definitely love your comic. You definitely love the fact that you enjoy what you're doing. And for those that have actually never been to littleforkers.com, tell us what it's all about.
So I guess I'll give you a tiny bit of the backstory. I started it in 2008. Basically, before that, I was a nurse for 12 years delivering babies. A very, definitely interesting occupation, let's just say that. Anyway, I had a car accident, which is a little bit Debbie Downer, and ended up with some time off, and I was stuck at home and, going out of my mind. Like I was going fork and nuts. So I stuck a fork in a jar of nuts, and that became kind of like a joke around the house. Well, later they said they didn't know that I could do nursing because I still have some short-term memory problems and stuff like that. So I got forking mad and bent the fork. And for some reason, I just did a couple more and decided one of them looked like a stripper. I don't know what drug I was on at the time, but that's what I decided. So the next thing you know, I started painting forks and bending forks, and Amber and Adrian come home one day, and there's Mom with 30 forks on the table, and painted. And they're all thinking she forked and lost it. Yep. But everybody was really happy because I painted them all with nail polish at that point because I didn't know what to do with. Now it's just model parts. But so it was really, everybody's very happy from all the people from the nail polish.
Well, it's definitely good to see that you're willing to work with your hands and still use the creative side of your brain to create a fun comic that definitely resonates with a lot of people that get to read it. I mean, I'm looking at your Facebook page, I'm looking at your comics, and it takes a forking genius to really get down to the fact that you're taking a tragedy and turn it into humor that everyone can actually enjoy.
I wanted to make it where people took. Basically, when you have something in your life that you consider a hardship, a setback, something that is something you need to overcome, to turn that thing into a bridge to where you want to be. You know, when I was actually younger, I thought, it would be so cool to be a writer. It would be so cool to do comics. But the practicality of it never worked because I had a child when I was 21, and something about buying groceries and things. So I went on to nursing. It's kind of funny how things turned around and put me into this situation. It's really interesting. And I'll tell you that I never had this much fun delivering babies. That's for sure. I mean, it was very rewarding delivering babies, and I saw about 1,000 people come into this world take their first breath. I'll have to admit that's pretty amazing. Nothing more amazing than see a child take its first breath. But this is a lot less stressful than that's for sure.
Well, we'll talk about then when you first started doing the comic itself, when you first started getting your ideas together. Why on the internet? Why did you want to showcase your comic here?
It was funny, it literally was it didn't even start out that way. It started out as rehab. Literally, I was bending forks. I had no idea why. Then I started dressing them up, and I didn't know what to do. When I started getting better and my speech was getting better again, I had 100 forks. I'm like, what do I do with 100 forks? I mean, really. So it started out, honestly, as greeting cards and magnets. So it's like, well, what do you do with them? You take pictures of them. you know, and then I turned them into greeting cards and magnets, and we took them to the stationery show, and everybody was like, this looks like a comic book. And, you know, what was funny is when I was having speech problems, I was literally going in my own little head and thinking up these little stories. I was like, actually, it is. I already have all these stories, you know, the jelly beans that go zombie-fied, take over the world, and you know, Crazy Forker that Lacey's taken. I can't tell you whether he is or not. And, you know, the stripper that has more common sense than the rest of us. I mean, all these things that I had thought up, and I just started putting it all into comic, and it seems to be going really well. So, and it was the most amazing thing for me was when I said, okay, well, I'm going to take a vote. What do people want me to do? Do they want more funny, quick skits, or do they want me to have a big story? And when I actually got vote results, I was like, I'm not being put into rooms. It's so cool. You're never sure. You know, it's like, oh, maybe people click on. But when they actually answer you, you're like, oh, yeah.
Well, Amber, let's talk about you here for a second, because you've helped your mom do the conventions, and the conventions themselves can be really stressful.
You too. It's so easy to get claustrophobic in there. Some parts are like really nice and calm, and other parts everybody was like charging forward like or something.
And you know, I first saw you at C2E2, and I first saw your entire booth there as well. It was very colorful. It drew my eye to it, which was wonderful to see. How was that convention, Amber? We'll start with you. How was that convention in terms of, first of all, dealing with your mom trying to promote a product, and secondly, dealing with all of the traffic and all of the fans of that show?
At some point, really, you know, hectic because somebody here, we would have people to like, you know, talk to everybody. It's easy to get distracted with one person, then somebody else is trying to look, and you have to jump back over there. It's kind of hectic.
She helped a lot with the setting up and the breaking down.
And that was the worst part. And then the phone booth. Oh yeah, I wanted to take it and burn it. It's like you have this huge phone board and this little white van, and it's like it turns the van into a kite. You know, you're kind of driving to Ohio and Chicago, which is the windy thing.
And like literally, we kept thinking we were going to go off into like the air. You know, just going to be flying. We could just fly in. Because
we could even go over like 50 or 60 miles an hour. So eventually, I wanted to burn it. Like I could cover the entire scene right there in the middle of CCTV and burn it.
Oh, well, that's, you know, you never hear about these setup stories or the travel aspect too. I mean, it's crazy.
We thought about filming like the whole thing of getting up there, because honestly, it's freaking terrible. We have some clips like with Adrian was had the phone board wrapped in this tarp, and with all the wind, it kept trying to blow off the van, and then
multiple places. We just put out the phone board and was like rewrap.
We had to rewrap it because the stuff would keep coming off, and at one point we have a video of Adrian just rolling across back and forth, trying to get all the air out of the phone board. I mean, seriously, like traveling, you know, 16 hours with
it was 15 hours to drive, and it turned into 20 hours.
Yeah, because we could only go 45 sometimes. It was too windy. Like it was.
And we had 4 females in one car with crammed all this stuff. Imagine what kind of hell that was.
Watching hormones. Yeah.
Well, you've been doing this comic for how long? For about a year now?
Yeah, right. The comic for a year. So, like in 2008 was kind of when the accident happened. Over that year, then I came up with the Forkers, and then it was the Green Cards, and so the comic has been basically 1 year, and so 1 year down, getting more to go.
Well, with this type of comic here, you know, you're finally promoting it a lot more. I'm glad to see that you're taking time to do promotion, which is necessary for this type of comic here. Now I know you're going back to C2E2 this year, which is wonderful to see. I hope you do well with that. Why did you want to go back to Chicago?
Well, it was kind of like the birthplace, kind of like it's where we launched. So it's kind of like going back to our I don't know what the word is. I guess birthplace is it. It's kind of where I launched them.
It's like
Yeah, it's like
go back to
yeah, like salmon going back. And the people from Repop are just amazing, and but were so amazing to us and so amazing to new artists and really trying to help somebody launch something. They gave us an amazing spot, and they really were helpful in helping us figure out how to set up, how to do things, because they were just amazing to work with. And so we're hoping to do New York with them, and I'm signed up to do Kamikaze, so he's so fabulous. And so we're really excited about that too. So I wanted to try to get it to where we were on both coasts and kind of in the middle so that everybody could kind of see it. And that's okay. So let's just give her flashbacks to her childhood.
Well, we won't talk about that on the show. We'll leave that for afterwards. But I know I was joking as well. Yes, definitely. You know, and C2E2 was the first time that TGT went to that show when it first started as well, and it's a great show. I love the fact that it's Midwest. It's a very large facility, and they cater to comic and retail. They don't just cater to the entertainment industry like some other shows.
Yeah, it's amazing, and the people there. I mean, we've done some other smaller cons, and what we've also heard about that one's the big difference is, I mean, people get excited, like they're like. It's like it's a rock concert before you go into that con. I mean, people are like all revved up before they go in, and they're like clapping when the lights go down and stuff. It's just like literally an amazing experience. I was hooked to Comic-Con after just that one. I was like, oh no, I want to do this again next week and the week after that.
Well, you know, the one thing about Little Forkers is it's not just you doing the actual comic itself. You actually have your entire Forking family doing this. This is wonderful.
It's a Forking family affair. We're like the Partridge Family of comics or something. I think is what we're turning into.
well, so
Adrian, Adrian's doing the web design, and so and with her helping, and she also helps write. And now Austin, he's going to start helping me. Do you want to put your head in real quick? My 11-year-old, who's going to come up with more kid appropriate stuff. So, because I felt like so many children were attracted to it too. I felt like I should add something onto them. So we're going to do a separate site that has the more kid appropriate. There are some strips that are all ages. We're going to call it the Fine Head, so that kids can read it too. So it's going to be like the edited version with the beat thing she got.
Well, and also with this, the fact that you have your family doing this, you're not just focusing on Little Forkers. You have, I believe, Amber is doing a comic as well, right?
Right, yes. Do you want to tell me about the comic you're doing?
I'm really picky about not telling people very much at all, because I feel like, mostly I feel like it spoils it. When you're reading a book, somebody tells you, oh, well, here's the surprise. It kind of but it's going to be anthropomorphic comic, and it's going to be very fantasy-based. And it's going to be like normal answers, and it's going to be a big supernatural type of answer as far as that goes. But it's going to be some clashes in that. It's really great to see stuff that happens.
It's called Core, is what she's going to call it. So, and we registered her domain yesterday, so it's going to be corewebcomic.com, and we're hoping to that before we get to C2E2. And her art is amazing. She has so much on deviant art. What's her you do for a family. You do art for a family.
Yeah, so you can kind of tell.
But what's the name of your do you have like an account one?
Well, what we could do is you could actually type it in once we're done here, and I can actually post it up. That'll be a lot easier. And that way we can get you proper, recognition and all that other stuff as well, which would be wonderful. No, it sounds like a great comic. I'm looking forward to seeing what it's all about, and hopefully I'll have you on the show next year talking about it as well. That'd be wonderful. Get you some extra promotion there, because I know we have a lot of guests that have been on the show, do Anthro Comics, which is, they do some amazing work as well. So that's a very good community to get into, especially when you're first starting out, especially if you really enjoy your comic.
Oh, she loves Anthro.
I just draw it's so much more fun because people are bored. I not just draw animal people,
but not for.
No, I think you have that covered there, Tess.
I got more. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Yes, we officially, we have one of our pages, we registered, like, you know, the little meta tags or whatever, we put Rule 34 for it. We have a Fork and Sutra, and we're doing a gift book that I'm hoping to have finished soon called I Could Fork You. It's basically kind of like to a popular children's book, but the rhyme to it is I could fork you here or there, I could fork you anywhere. Bad. It's so bad.
Oh, that's great.
So,
Dr. Spoon, or Dr. Seuss rather, wrote it. Was that right?
You're so forking brilliant. Oh my God. Yeah. Dr. Spoon. That's amazing. And you know, this is the one that got Lucy pregnant and got her, you know, all in trouble with work. Oh my goodness. How do you explain that when it's a delivery suite?
Sometimes I have to stay away from the utensil genre just for comic wise. I don't know. When it comes to the Little Forkers, obviously when you first started it, there must have been, besides the medical aspect that you had to deal with of healing up, you must have gone through some challenges as well, dealing with maybe content or story wise. What challenges did you personally go through for this?
Well, it's funny. I think the biggest thing for me is I still have some, and not as bad now, it's getting better, but some short-term memory problems. So, like, trying to remember what I wrote and what I was writing and what I'm working on was, like, such a challenge to me. Like, literally, when I was working on writing stuff, I literally would have to put the top of the page. This is, like, a brief sentence of this is what I'm writing. So if I forget what the heck I'm working on, I know that sounds so weird. But literally, that's what I did. And then I have my husband edit. But it's so overwhelming, and even now, sometimes it's like, what's the storyline again? You know, like, and trying to get my little shorts kind of worked into it, because I'm trying to keep little bits of funny and in with the storyline at the same time, because I laugh and say that my comics a lot like, okay, this is bad. I guess you can edit out if it's going too far, but my comics a lot like porn. You know, sometimes you have to put up with a storyline to get to the good stuff.
Works for me. There's a storyline in porn?
You know, okay, so I have a friend of mine, a very close friend of mine, and he was laughing because I posted that on Facebook, and he's like, yeah, well, it's not as bad now that we have DVDs and not a VHS. And I was like, good to know. So he's like, we're supposed to pay with the fast forward button. I'm like, okay.
Sometimes that's almost too much information, but hey, what can you do?
Right now, my brain's gone.
That's all right. Hey, it's early in the morning as well too. But when it comes down to it, though, what has been the fan reaction though to Little Forkers, besides convention wise, comment wise on the website?
Well, I tell you, when it started out, the website, I mean, my website was not absolutely working fabulous. Now I get a lot of comments about having a real presence on the web, so I think we're finally heading to where we need to be with that. I still have some things, I'm tweaking and things, and a lot of people are really amazed with my high definitions of captioning, you know, where I have, like, where you mouse over and the images change and where what they're thinking pops up, and then now that we're going to put videos in it, people are really responding to that. I think people want to interact. They don't just want to read something, you know, just look at it, it's there. I mean, me, also, there's one that I have, like, Close Encounters of the Dating Kind, and, like, I like to just sit there and make the, like, eyeball, that one little guy just pop out, and then go back and pop out. I'm easily amused, like your bird.
Glad someone's here. Let me ship them to you. You can have them.
Anyway, so I'm kind of easily amused like that. But anyway, I want to eventually make it to where I have some sort of forum or comment system where, because we do everything ourselves. You know, my daughter's having trouble figuring out the coding on that. She's trying to figure out how to do that. So hoping to get that added. But that's Adrian's department, so it might be a while. Because with her being in school and lifeguarding, you know, it might be a little bit cool. Yeah, she's debating becoming a police officer. So we've got to convince her that she just needs to do comics. I don't need that stress.
A police officer in
Norfolk, Virginia.
Female police officer in Norfolk. You know, saying.
Sorry, I'm Canadian, so we don't know about the police officers in down south there, so.
Yeah, probably not the best occupation for a female in Norfolk, no.
I have this.
Yeah, she's ready to move.
And I can speak French, so, you know.
Oh, good. Well, come on up. You know, we're always liking the southern birds coming north. You know, dealing with our winters and all that other stuff. So, and no, you don't get your free igloo when you come over to Canada. That's a myth. So now renting polar bears, on the other hand, that may or may not be true. It depends on the season.
Oh my gosh, you actually have, like, aren't they just in Alaska? Okay, that's what I was thinking. Okay, you have to understand. I am very gullible.
I could probably run a grizzly bear to get through. I could get pretty far with that. I'd be the person in traffic. Everybody would heal to me.
I would never go outside. I'm so cold natured. Like I like a house like 80 degrees, you know? I don't understand. It's like in the summer, my husband always wants to have the air conditioning on. I'm like, what is that for? Why do you need that? It's just now getting the appropriate temperature. 80. I consider myself small. You see, I'm getting ready for global warming. I'm already prepared. I can take the extreme heat.
Well, what about back to the comic though? In terms of your characters, you have a lot of characters in general. Is there any in particular that really resonate with you?
Well, I don't. I think kind of it's hard to pick. To be honest with you, my first character was actually here, Orphan Sleazy. She actually was. This was actually the first character I made, and like thenceforth, and like. I took this to my mom's house and showed it to her, and I said, "Look what I made!" You know, this was before it was a comic, before it was anything. It was just a report. And she goes, "Well, I think I see a nurse wasting her time." And I'm like, "We shall see about that." But anyway, so she was the first one. But so I guess I kind of have a little bit of an affinity to her. And then I really like Calypso Ninja a lot because he's just really true to himself and things like that. I mean, he's the gay ninja that wears the rainbow ninja suit, and he is just out there, and he doesn't want to give up his rainbow ninja suit. Although everybody says if he wears black, his ninja operations will go better, but that's not who he is. So, I mean, I really like him because he's staying like true to who he is. I think that's important. And I'm trying to think. I mean, who do you think? Who's your favorite?
Probably Calypso.
Calypso, yeah.
I love Casey. I'm the straightest skateboarder you probably ever meet.
But he's amazing, and yeah, and I don't know. It's kind of hard to pick them because they all came at different times.
Now, what I think you need to do is add a forking bird like my parakeet into your comic, just as like a background character.
I don't have a bird. You're right. I have the butterfly that Calypso's married to, and I have a mermaid so far, that forking mermaid who's like the crazy girlfriend that every guy's had. If you don't text every 2 minutes, she's a complete crazy person. Of course, I've never been like that at all ever in my life. But yeah, and I'm trying to think of any other unusual characters. I'm sitting here looking at them. I literally,
there's a name with animal things. The cat dog.
Yeah, we have like, we don't know what they are. We don't know if they're cats. They're made out of lobster forks, but those are the forking pets.
Well, my bird's name is Petey, so you know, there you go. That's the name that.
Petey bird, yes, Petey bird.
And if he happens to say meet his demise every other comic or so, and then come back like.
That would be so funny. I hadn't even thought of that. Oh my God, they killed Petey. Oh, wait a minute. Hasn't someone done that before?
Yeah, sort of, but still, it would work great in your comics. You know, when it comes down to Little Forkers, you're going very well with it. It's a great comic overall. You have great press. You're getting good fans listening to it. watching it, interacting with it, which is great to see. Is there any type of spoiler or any little tidbit you want to tease your fans and our listeners and watchers of the show? Something to wet their whistle for something that's upcoming, maybe.
Now I should have just waited to tell you about I should have recited the whole I Could Force It. But with the storyline, I am working on with let's see, I'm trying to think. We have Victor Fortune, whose name has no vowels. I don't know if you've noticed that yet or not. He lives with that light. He lives with that vowel. You know, his whole life is this. But he also has 3 wives, so what is he complaining about, right? Anyway, there's going to be some upset in our political system because people are getting sick of Victor making laws that him. Of course, politicians never do that. So I guess we'll have to see. There's a theory, one of our bigger characters that may be running for mayor soon to overthrow Victor. So and it's gonna get a little crazy because Victor will not respond well to having competition for the mayoral election. So. He has it where basically all of the city business has to be done at nighttime, so that he doesn't have to worry about being out in the sun, and it kind of makes turns Newport City into an all-you-can-eat buffet. They have to pay their water bill. They have to go downtown at night, and the mayor's a vampire, and they're waiting. So, which we're still waiting to see what happened to Jenna Dazzle Panties, who was a stripper at the club where Fleely worked, who has gone missing. I guess we're about to find out what happened to dear Jenna, and I'm hoping to put together something where people sign up, and I'm gonna do a giveaway of Jenna Dazzle Panties for that character, the stripper character.
Of Jenna Dazzle as the character or her panties.
We should raffle off Jenna's panties.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
She's gonna be. I'm gonna put like a thing where people can sign up to win Jenna Dazzle.
Oh, that's wonderful. Is there anything that I didn't get to bring up that you'd like to let everyone know about?
You're asking the person with the short-term memory.
Amber, is there anything that I forgot?
I said it before. If I said it before, I won't know I said it again.
You'll just have to watch this and you'll be fine.
I'll be fine. It's funny. And call myself the Dory of Webcomic.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I just want to thank you both for coming. Actually, 3 of you, Austin as well. Thank you for coming on the show, and it's a true it's a true pleasure having you all on. If I can make it to C2E2 this year, I'll be more than happy.
What about New York? Will you be able to? Do you know about New York?
Not even close. With school and everything like that, I won't be able to do much traveling at all. I might not even make it to Fan Expo this year. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I think you just need to be part of the Fork and Posse at C2E.
Yeah, it is my home convention. I do want to keep it consistent, even though it's in Chicago, but I love it. It's a great show. I always want to show. Yeah.
It's a party con, too.
It is. Just a little bit, yeah. But that ends this episode of TGT Media. Our last episode of the year is going to be next week with Hushio from Incubus. He's I believe from out west somewhere, one of the Asian countries, I think. Anyhow, but he's gonna be on the show, and that'll end this year of TGT. Of course, as always, you can schedule your interview with TGT Media for 2013 on the schedule interview or suggest interview section of tgtmedia.com. Once you go there, you just fill out the quick form. It gets emailed directly to me, and I get you scheduled for next year. In fact, we have January and February are completely full. We are still looking for the rest of it. So take your time, fill it out, and away you go. And as always, Webcomics, What's Cooking, Feeding Family City by City. the charity comic cookbook, where all proceeds go to the National Food Banks of Feeding America and Food Banks Canada. We did donate $400 apiece to Feeding America and Food Banks Canada. Thank you, everyone, for purchasing the books and all of that stuff. We still have more books available, so you can go to it at webcomiccookbook.org and donate more money to that, and you'll get a wonderful 100-page full-color custom comic cookbook with fabulous comics and great recipes as well.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you guys as well.